What's up, guys? Welcome to the Not So Late Show's interview segment. I'm Ben Klinkenberg, the executive producer of Not So Late Show.
I'm Daniella Jahn, one of the hosts.
And today we're joined by Erin O'Brian from 71 Magazine, the editor-in-chief. Erin, thanks for having us here.
Hi. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thanks for... Anyways, so Erin, tell us a little bit about yourself and 71 Magazine.
I'm the CEO and editor-in-chief of 71 Magazine and the firm that publishes it, 71 Publications. I started this adventure, this journey, back in last May. After I was working on my master's over at UTSA, and it's like 3 a.m. in March, and I've got my thesis going. It's my last semester, and I'm like, I have this idea all of a sudden. Hey, I need to stop what I was planning to do, and I need to start a magazine. That's my background. I come from communication, business comm, and I've been working in mostly local and regional media and magazines for now 12 years and about 11. And so I thought, it would be really, really great to start the kind of magazine that I would like to see, right? And so I told my family, my friends, everyone, like, I'm not going to go to doctoral school after all. I'm going to go get an MBA, and I'm going to start a company as soon as I'm done with this degree. And they thought I was insane, and I probably was, let's be honest. But so I finished the thesis, graduated, and then started the company like the next week, formally. The magazine itself was launched last November, so it's pretty much exactly a year old right now. Awesome. So yeah, essentially 71 is, it's a creative publication based here in San Antonio, but our content focus is it's more of an international scale. We talk to creatives from all over the world in all different areas of creativity. And of course that's film, fashion, music, art, design, but we also get into the sciences and tech a little bit because STEAM is my acronym. I love it. Arts and sciences are, they're not opposing teams like so many people try to place them, but I think they work really well together. So we even had a space issue that we did back in March, April. So we're into that. Content is pretty broad, covers a lot of different things, and essentially it's just been a crazy journey. Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. So you actually told us a little bit earlier that you worked with NASA a little bit on a project. Can you tell us a little bit about that? That sounded really interesting.
Yeah, that's actually connected to the space issue, of course.
Of course.
We were invited to cover, to provide NASA with some coverage as part of a press tour that they held. And this was at Johnson over in Houston. And so we go over there to this press tour, and it's really great. It's beyond what you would get just on the standard like NASA visitor tour. We got to go into mission control. Well, not literally into mission control. They're not that crazy. But we were right there. We were able to see it up close. We were able to talk to some of the astronauts and some other people who work in media for them. And then they were really, really cool, actually, really hospitable, really positive, and everything like that. And so
they didn't really need their space, is what you're telling me.
They were all about it, like, hey, post everything. Here are the photos.
Awesome.
Here's more, whatever you need. It's great. So, and we wanted to talk about NASA specifically for that issue because NASA is 60 years old now, as of, I believe, October was when their formal anniversary was. So that was cool. We wrote a little article about that, and also just about some of the other things that they've been working on, and not just NASA. It's not like the NASA issue. I mean, no, but they were very helpful, and also a big part of that issue. It was fun.
Absolutely. Cool.
What other stories have you covered? Like highlights, what are your favorites?
Yeah, top 5 at least. Like what?
Okay, top 5. Let's see. Okay, well, one that was a really, really fun experience was Christabel. If you're not familiar with Christabel, she's I guess she's most broadly known as David Lynch's muse, and big David Lynch fan right here. I love it. I love his stuff. So she's a musician primarily, but she's also recently gotten into acting. She was in the Twin Peaks return.
Oh, really?
I think we actually just saw that cover. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah, thank you. So it was funny, like in probably the summer or earlier fall of last year, we created this wish list of people we wanted to interview. And of course, we're pre-launch, we're, you know, we don't have like anything on paper.
Yeah.
Everything is, we will do this.
Yeah.
Pre-launch is a fun time. So we had these people that we wanted to talk to. And we get into, I think, December, and we were thinking, okay, well, we need a cover for the January, February issue. And so maybe just, you know, rule number 1, just ask. The definite way you're going to get a no is if you don't even ask the person, right? And so we did. I just sent an email to her management, her assistant, and they were into the idea. And we were like,
wow,
okay, that's cool. So we got to interview her, and the interview was tons of fun. It's the longest interview I've ever done. It was like 90 minutes. We were just talking.
Yeah.
But that's what you want. You want more material.
Absolutely.
More than less. So she was really great to talk to, and we also arranged an original photo shoot with her in San Francisco. That was, it was really a really fun, really positive experience. Unfortunately, we were not able to physically go to San Francisco at that point, but the team was great. It was a team of all women as well, and that was pretty cool. So that's one of my favorites for sure. Let's see. Well, you asked for a top 5, right?
Yeah. I mean, you can just give the highlights if you can. It doesn't have to be
I know
top
that was
5
kind of
there,
a long story, but I feel like it needed a little more context for why. Okay, so that one's good. We actually also interviewed Amy Shields from Twin Peaks. Also.
Oh, are you a big Twin Peaks fan?
Well, actually, that was. I am a Twin Peaks fan because I'm a David Lynch.
There it is. There it is.
But that was not necessarily planned. We actually got to her through a photographer we're acquainted with, and she said, "Hey, I'm shooting Amy Shields. Do you want to do this?" We were like, "Okay,
Absolutely, yeah.
sure, yeah."
Course,
so we did that as well. She was also really cool. Probably my favorite. I mean, we have so many stories that we don't publish. Even like there's so many. Probably with any small business, any media business especially, but yeah. So another one I have to say is Steven Soderbergh, director. He was in town for the cocktail conference, San Antonio Cocktail Conference back in January. And again, this is early days. January, our second issue had just come out like probably the week before this happened. So he's there. And my strategist, Mike, and I are kind of looking through events. We're talking to them about maybe providing some coverage and, you know, that kind of stuff. And so we're scrolling through these different events that they have, and we come to one that's, it's about Singani, which I had never heard of before this situation. And I'm like, what is that? That sounds cool. And then it's like these people, and Steven Soderbergh, and I'm thinking, the director? What? Is that the same person? But I mean, how many people with that name could there be,
exactly.
right? So we thought that sounds cool, and and it must have been him because it was an event where there was a screening of a short film about Singani. Turns out, Stephen also, Singani 63 is his company's name. He is in the booze business as kind of a side hustle that he described as his passion project. Well, for him, it probably is. He's way accomplished. I mean, it's crazy. But yeah, so he was there. He sat there with his people at Singani, and they were talking entirely about that. And then Mike says, you know, we have to ask, right? And so he goes up and is like, hey, can we talk to Steven? And he said, sure.
Wow.
So,
Yeah, just gotta ask.
yeah. So we end up moving over. This was in the St. Anthony, I think, and we ended up moving over into one of the bars within there. And of course, they're passing out Singani because that's the cocktail conference. The point of the event, right? And so there we are, like broad daylight, downtown San Antonio, having drinks with Steven Soderbergh. I mean, it's a cool story.
Yeah, that's a great story.
So yeah, that was fun for sure. Let's see, that's 3. But also there are a whole lot of things I like talking about, even if they're not based in an interview as well. I mean, of course, there was an article about David Lynch, specifically his LA trilogy, which is Lost Highway, Mulholland Drive, and Inland Empire. So I wrote my little piece about that. We wrote about 2001: A Space Odyssey.
Great movie.
Great sci-fi. It turned 50 this year. So that was also in the space issue. I
was about to say, that's a good connection right there. That's perfect.
Yeah, right? It was, so that was fun, getting into that. and kind of its legacy and all of that stuff. And I wrote about Suspiria too, specifically about the score. Thom Yorke wrote the score for the film that just came out. And so that's kind of where I was coming from. And I haven't seen that yet, but I'm planning to. I'm a big horror fan in general, so of course I know and I respect the original film. So yeah, lots of fun. I mean, and that's one of the main reasons that I wanted to, or that I should say that we wanted to start 71, because if you have a platform like that, then you can just be creative and focus on different things and people that you believe in, that you really like, and you can share their stories. So was that a top 5? Is that good?
Yeah.
That's great. That's perfect. Yeah.
Okay.
So I wanted to ask you a little bit. You mentioned earlier about going kind of international. Can you explain to us a little bit about that process and how you guys are kind of looking at going a little bit more international, or what that process has been like?
We are what they would call, I'm working on an MBA right now, like I said. We would call this Born Global. That's what we are. And I say that because it was really funny. Like at first we were saying that we were going to be primarily a state publication, a Texas magazine, specifically a Texas fashion magazine. We've grown a lot, but that was the original incarnation of 71. But even from the first issue, we spoke to, one good example here is Teddy Lowe. He is, he's a lighting designer from Asia, and he's just a really, really cool guy, a really talented person. And so he was one of the first people that we spoke to for this. And just already, the things we were covering were not necessarily specific to Texas or even the United States. We were talking about 3D printing, and a little later projection mapping, different tech crossovers. And we've always had people from all over the world. We're broadening that even further. Certainly, we arranged photo shoot in London for our film issue. A couple of stars of Humans, which is a British science fiction show that's very interesting. We talked to a couple of their stars. So we've arranged a photo shoot over there. We work with photographers certainly from all over the world. I believe we're about to highlight an Australian photographer now. We've worked with Canadians, French. We have a French photographer that we're really into, a couple actually. And essentially, so people who are contributing as photographers or people that we are speaking to are from all over everything. And what we cover, the types of articles that we write, are also not necessarily, like I said, of interest only here. And so we've actually, the development of the brand has been more like, essentially we just are an international entity that happens to be based here. So that's sort of how we're conceiving of it now. And of course, we're happy to work with people from wherever. It doesn't matter if we like their work, if we think they're cool, if they think we're cool, it works, right?
Awesome, yeah, absolutely. Cool, so I know you guys just won a prestigious award in the magazine world. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
We won Magazine of the Year at the 2018 San Antonio Fashion Awards, which is
amazing. Yeah.
Surreal. It's surreal even now, even to say it. Essentially, it's amazing. I mean, it would be anyway. I mean, something like that is awesome no matter when it happens. But especially to get something like that in our first year, I think it's just really, really cool. I think, and I say I think because, I don't know how with it I really was mentally when I was up there accepting the award. I don't know. But I think I said that it was the warmest welcome ever. Hopefully that's what I said, because that kind of makes sense.
Sounds good, yeah.
So, I mean, and it totally is. If you don't know much about the awards, they are hosted by Stylish TV, Burgundy Woods, and I think this was the 4th annual event. Essentially what happens is they invite the community to nominate different people in different categories. The magazine is not the only one, of course. They celebrate designers and makeup artists and anyone within the realm of fashion and media. And so we were able to, we received a nomination, and we were in a category of 4 magazines. And of course, being 1 year old, we are the newest. We were up against a couple that have been around for a long time, that are very recognized entities, right? And so we were thinking, well, I I don't know what our chances are here, but hey, we're
We'll show
nominated
up,
and
we'll enjoy it, yeah.
that's fun,
Who knows
right?
what'll happen, yeah.
But we thought, certainly, especially in our position being so new, a lot of people didn't, and probably maybe they still don't really know about us yet. And so we came up with this campaign. It was called 17 for 71. It was a social media based campaign where we basically just gave people 17 reasons, one at a time, to vote for us. And it seemed to go over really well. I mean, the feedback we got from it was really positive, and Style Lush announced that they actually got voters on an international scale this year. And now I am not in any way suggesting that we did that, or
you guys aren't outsourcing votes, right? Those aren't
No. I think the site actually makes it so that you can't do that. Not that we were gonna,
right, yeah.
we're not. That's not what we're about.
Of course.
But so I have no idea how that broke down. Certainly, a lot of other people may have gotten votes from elsewhere as well. Who knows? And who knows if we did? Maybe we didn't. I don't know. But I thought that was cool because it shows that the event is growing, and people's regard for San Antonio as a creative destination or hub is also growing. And I think that's really, really cool. Because, I've been here for most of my life, and I remember some 10 years ago thinking, there's really not much here for a person like me, a creative. What is there? Probably it was here. It just hasn't been particularly unified, or hadn't been. So I think that Style Lush has been really, really instrumental in helping make it into more of an integrated community, and it's just really, really cool to be part of that. But yeah, so we were thrilled to participate in the event. Certainly, not even only as nominees and winners, but just to be there. We actually went to the Fashion Awards last year. Of course, we weren't up for anything. We hadn't even published yet, but we covered the event, and so we were just there, totally impartial, just checking it out. It was fun. But yeah, so to go again just 1 year later under the circumstance, it was really cool. Really,
absolutely.
Really
That's
cool.
incredible. So what are some future plans for your company?
We have a whole lot of ideas. Firstly, one of the things that we would like to do is go monthly or bi-monthly currently, which is fine, but ultimately we would like to publish more frequently. And so we're looking at doing that as soon as that becomes a little bit more feasible, just to get a little bit more miles under our belt first. Also, I launched the firm behind it exclusively to add more publications and more other types of media offerings and things like that as well. And so we're definitely in growth mode and planning on expanding more, probably starting this year. It's just our second year. First year was amazing, and we're really looking forward to getting into the next step.
Absolutely. Yeah, well, I hope we can help with that. I know we have their social media tag here somewhere there, so if you guys want to follow them, you can follow them at, I think it's My71Mag. It's kind of hard to see from here. But yeah, I checked out you guys' sites over there. I think you're on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Is that correct?
Yes, we're also on LinkedIn if you do that too. Yeah. And,
absolutely.
My71 Mag is, it's a little different on LinkedIn, but for those other entities, it is the same. It's the same handle, and I'm still impressed that we were able to do that, right?
Absolutely.
And that's our website as well, my71mag.com.
Now, I know you guys actually handed us some T-shirts here. I don't know if that's a free PR thing. I'm actually going to go grab mine here and put that on here to kind of finish this up. But I think this has been a really great interview with you guys. I'm going to put this here.
That's
Look at that.
a good T-shirt too.
For a fashion magazine, I think they've really got it going on there. So as you guys can see, they really know what they're doing here. But Erin, I wanted to thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate you having on the show. It sounds very interesting. I hope that we can kind of give you guys a little bit more publicity through this interview, and I hope that we can collaborate in the future here. Maybe use me as one of your runway models or something there. We can talk about that after the show. Anyways, from Not So Late Show, my name is Ben Klinkenberg.
And I'm Daniella Jahn.
Thank you guys so much. We'll see you next time.